It's a variant cover, plus it has a Jim Lee signature. But this one not only has an artist signature, it also has an actual sketch. That's a real drawing by a real artist. That's Tom McQueenie. Hey guys, what's up? Rod Rodriguez here. Welcome to another episode of Rod's Comics. And on this episode, we're going to talk about variant covers. And if you're wondering what a variant cover is, it's a comic book issue with like multiple versions of a cover. So basically, inside, it's the same comic book, but on the outside, it's a totally different ball game. And there are a lot of popular comic books that came out with variant covers. Usually the first issue would come out with a variant cover, and also special issues as well, or maybe a limited run of a particular series. And variant covers, they appeared in major comic books from Marvel and DC, but also from a lot of independent comic books as well. Image Comics was really well known for coming out with a bunch of variant covers. And, it adds to the collectability of the comic book, but it's also somewhat seen as a gimmick. So on this episode, we're going to check out some of my comic books that have their variant covers, and it's up to you. Be the judge if you think the variant cover is worth owning, and does it add or does it diminish from the integrity of the original comic book. Now, variant covers supposedly started out during Man of Steel #1 back in the 80s, and I'm not sure if it was John Byrne who came out with two versions of Man of Steel #1. One just a standard cover, and the other one like a special collector's edition cover. That sort of is credited as one of the pioneers of variant covers. I'm not sure if there were others that came out before that. All right, so we'll start with a very popular comic book series, one of the most popular, if not the most popular superhero comic book group. And I would have to say they're not really superheroes. They're more like a mutant outcast kind of group when they started out, and then they eventually became super popular, mainly because of the movies and pop culture in general. We are talking about X-Men. Now, this is not a #1 issue by any means. This is actually a number 25 issue, but it is from a newer batch of X-Men books. I mean, there's Uncanny X-Men, and there's Wolverine with his solo series and all that. So this one is, of course, the one that was kicked off with Jim Lee at the helm on the cover of speaking of variant covers, that one had like a bazillion versions, and almost everybody bought like a ton of copies as well. But this is issue number 25, and this is from 1993. All right, Andy Kubert did the art. And the writer was Fabian Nicieza. And yeah, it's number 25. This is a series of X-Men versus Magneto mainly. And the controversial topic of this particular series is that the Fatal Attraction series is that Magneto actually pulls out Wolverine's adamantium from his bones. And if you're wondering what the adamantium is, it's the type of metal or element that makes Wolverine's bones virtually unbreakable. So this obviously weakens him and sort of makes him a little bit more normal. He does retain his healing powers, which is what allowed him to survive. But this is a very popular cover. A lot of people own issue number 25 of X-Men. This is the newer series, not part of the Uncanny X-Men series again. So from 1993. Now, what makes this issue sort of special? Well, it's a regular number 25, but there's an error on the hologram. So the hologram should show an image and should be visible, right? So as you can see, you cannot see the hologram. So this is considered an error version of number 25. And yeah, it makes it kind of rare, I guess. But what's even more rare is another. This is not really a variant cover. I wouldn't say this is a variant cover. This is more like an error cover because it's not intentional for the hologram to be messed up like that. But a variant cover would be this one. All right. This would be considered a variant cover. As you can see, the hologram works perfectly fine on this one. You can see Magneto in there, whereas you can't see him here. And if you look at the cover at first glance, they look exactly alike. Like you'd be like, okay, there's no difference. What's the difference with this comic book? Well, this one happens to be the partial sketch version. And as you can see, it does have the same image, except the part where Wolverine is, you can see it's in black and white. So it's like sketched and not colored in. And this is very rare, and it obviously commands a higher price, especially on eBay and all that. So if you get your hands on it, this is called the partial sketch version of number 25. So I actually have two sort of special versions of number 25. I have the hologram error one, and I have the partial sketch version 1. This is the variant cover. This is the regular cover just with an error. But most of you, if you have this issue, you probably just have the regular one like this with the hologram working like this. All right, so there. This is Battle Chasers. This one came out in 1998, obviously one of the more recent titles, at least in my collection. And this one, again, from April 1, 1998. This was written by Joe Madureira and artist by Liquid and Joe Madureira. Yeah, this is the, I guess we would call it the regular number 1. And if you want to see the variant cover, it would be this one, all right? So they call this like the chromium or the chrome cover, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this is obviously more deluxe. It's glossy. It has like a chrome touch to it, whereas this one's more like the regular. I don't know if it registers on camera, but hopefully it does. Value-wise, yeah, there's a difference as well, obviously, because this is more limited and this is more rare. So if you're a fan of Battle Chasers and you got your number 1, and you're thinking, wow, I have a number 1. Well, guess what? There's another number 1 that's even more special than your number 1. And which kind of, for me, makes variant covers suck a little bit because, you know, it ruins the joy of owning a first issue because now you have to go chase another issue that's supposedly more special than the other issue. When internally, it's exactly the same friggin' comic book, all right? But that looks really, really nice though. And there's like a texture to it as well. So if you're a big fan, you might want to own both. So the next comic book with variant covers, we're talking about Danger Girl. This one came out also in 1998. This is the regular number 1, if I'm not mistaken. So this is by J. Scott Campbell, one of my, I guess, favorite younger or newer artists. Very cool cover, if you can see. It sort of reminds me of, it kind of reminds me of Totally Spies. Danger Girl, that's the regular cover. And this is also number 1. It's basically the same comic book, but it's the variant cover, all right? So it's number 1, but it's the variant cover. But what makes this crazy is there's even a more special variant cover, which is the chrome cover. So there, as you can see, there's 3, all right? So this is the chrome cover of Danger Girl. So internally, these are all the same comic books, guys. You know, they don't change the story, they don't change the art, it's just really the cover. So if you want to collect all 3, or I think there might be even more than just these 3, then if you're a Danger Girl fan, then you have to get this one, obviously, because this is the one with the bling. This is the one that shines, all right? So that's the super variant cover. This is the regular variant cover, and this is the regular cover of Danger Girl from 1998 by J. Scott Campbell. This is really special because both these are special. I was looking for the regular cover of my Gen 13 number 1. I know it's probably upstairs somewhere. I have to go dig into my collection to find that. But I did find the 2 special versions or variants of Gen 13 number 1. Both are very cool. I don't really know which one to go first with, but this is the obviously the other variant. As you can see, it's like puzzle pieces, right? That's really, really cool. And if you look at it at first glance already, it looks like a very cool variant cover. I'll show the regular number 1 on the screen as well. But as you can see, if you look upon closer inspection, you can see a signature by Jim Lee. Yes, Jim Lee. He's like the head of like the DC Comics universe or something. And he used to do mainly art for The Punisher, X-Men. I mean, he used to be a Marvel guy, and certainly one of my favorites when it comes to artists, and definitely my top 3. Yeah, he actually signed this issue on the cover. If you can see it, it's right there by the Gen 13. It's in silver ink, and this is the variant cover of number 1. Plus, it's signed by Jim Lee. How cool is that? But if you think that's cool, well, guess what? We have another one That's quite cool as well. A special Gen 13 #1 cover. So it's the same as this book, but I don't know if this is even more special. What makes it special is obviously it's a variant cover, plus it has a Jim Lee signature. But this one not only has an artist's signature, it also has an actual sketch. That's a real drawing by a real artist. That's Tom McQueenie. All right, that's the art by artist Tom McQueenie, and that's real art. That's not printed on. That's not photocopied on. He really drew on this cover because originally, if you get this particular cover of Gen 13 #1, you get it as a blank page, and as you can see, you can draw your own or sketch your own Gen 13 #1 cover, and obviously, this one done by real artist Tom McQueenie, and it's pretty awesome how he did it. Look at that, he did the full cover. That's not just like regular art, that's full cover, and that's really hand drawn. How cool is that, right? And as you can see, he obviously endorsed it as well. There, that's Tom McQueenie. All right, so two very cool variants of Gen 13, signed by Jim Lee and drawn and signed by Tom McQueenie. So there you go. Those are my variant covers. That's not it though. I still have other comic books with variant covers, so maybe we will do a part 2 and a part 3 of this series. But just to show you how cool covers are, I mean, if you do look at a comic book, you do usually judge a comic book by its cover, especially back in the day when we didn't really, have internet yet. You could do research on the actual book. You would just go to a comic book shop or go to a newsstand and pick out the book with the best looking cover. And back in the day, obviously they had the variant covers to attract would-be comic buyers. But it's still on to this day, and a lot of variant covers are obviously still very much available even in the modern comic books that's being published to this day. I don't know how much of that gimmick though sells the book, or is it mainly just for the hardcore collectors? Either way, it's up to you. I'm not gonna judge you if you're a variant cover guy. I mean, as you can see, I have my own variant covers, so if you like buying multiple copies and different cover versions of your favorite comic book, why not? Makes you happy, floats your boat, go right ahead. So again, guys, don't forget to subscribe because that's really what inspires me to do more of this. Not making money out of it. It's mainly for the passion of the comic book collecting and for promoting and uplifting the hobby. So if you're a comic book collector or have any interest whatsoever in comic books, I recommend you hit that subscribe button, and I promise I'll do my part and produce more comic book related content. So this is another episode of Rod's Comics. Until the next episode.